And joining us now is OWEN ODIA, country manager of Luno Nigeria, a global cryptocurrency platform, to speak on the opportunity presented by cryptocurrencies in Africa, and then, of course, obstacles that are there. But before we go to her, we have a video for you to watch.
Who had purchased narcotics off of Silk Road and died as a result.
People have flooded Africa with a lot of scams, and a lot of our people are falling into those scams.
When there's a crisis and everybody tries to pull their money out of the banking system at the same time, banks don't have that money.
They have either destroyed the money or they are in the process of destroying it.
It's not that central financial authorities were a bad idea, but where it has failed us is where human greed has been able to manipulate the system.
Since Bitcoin, I became interested. I would still be living in my oblivious way, hoping that whoever's running the system is running it fine, and that we don't end up in the same way that Zimbabwe ended up.
We all remember what happened with the financial crisis in 2009. In that situation, we were reminded again that banks can fail.
Inside, I was like, whoa, this seems a little bit shady.
In the very beginning, I remember they used to call me and try to recruit me. They said you have got a network of people who can make a lot of money.
If law enforcement or the government want information about me, they should have to come knock on my door.
This person, what he's saying on TV, it's like, that's nonsense.
It's not up to some politician or some other institution to tell me what I can and what I can't do. That's my business.
Finally, we could use the internet to create a financial system that benefited everybody potentially.
There are a class of problems in Africa where we can just leapfrog.
How are you feeling?
Very excited. Making history.
Excited, making history. All right, we have OWEN ODIA, a country manager, Luno Nigeria. Hello, OWEN.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good morning. Glad to have you. Before we go into the question of having a good financial system, and then how greed has spoiled it, and then maybe we'll talk about how cryptocurrency, how greed won't affect that too. Will it be right to say that cryptocurrency is an antidote, if you like, to many of the financial challenges that Africa faces, and how is this?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, you're right. Cryptocurrency is actually the solution for the financial challenges we're facing in Africa, from high inflation rates to volatile currencies, and also to lack of banking infrastructure. And then the challenges we're facing in terms of cross-border payments, which is costly. So yes, I would say you're correct. It's an antidote to improve the financial challenges in Africa.
Well, in as much as you can say, OWEN, good morning, OWEN. In as much as you can say that Africa poses an ideal, clientele for cryptocurrencies, I wonder if there's also the issue that Africa would be vulnerable to scams tied to cryptocurrencies, because you see that across the world, lots of people being stuck in types of schemes, being able to capitalize off of the lack of knowledge and the lack of familiarity people would have with cryptocurrencies. So surely, do you think that in the African example, there's also a lot of space for mismanagement, risk, and eventually crime?
Yes, you're correct. Cryptocurrency tends to thrive well in emerging markets. And that is why Luno as a company, our focus is pretty much around education and awareness. Because cryptocurrency is a new technology. With cryptocurrency comes new technology, comes new scams, people of the underworld trying to take advantage of, I wouldn't say ignorance, but that's why education is pretty key. Our focus is basically around awareness. A lot of people come up with scams. You see companies coming up telling you, come and invest in cryptocurrency. You tend to make more money, promising you huge returns. So yes, it's important that we focus around education and awareness, explaining the risk, because cryptocurrency is also volatile, and then people tend to take advantage of that and make sure they try to scam people. So yes, education is pretty important, and awareness is very, very important. We as a company try to create awareness around cryptocurrency, the risk and the scam you should also look out for.
Yeah, you talked about awareness. The basics. Let's not even take it for granted. Everybody knows about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, what it's all about, how to trade with this type of currency. Talk to us about the difference between the currency, cryptocurrency, and the notes. What is the difference between the two? How does cryptocurrencies work? I mean, for the benefit of people who are watching.
So cryptocurrency, it's sort of, people call it internet money. It's sort of digital money. It's we have the most prominent cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. It's sort of sending message over the internet. It's like sending message over the internet, sending from one end to another. The good thing about cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, it's limited in value, limited in supply. There can only be 21 million Bitcoin. And because of that, it sort of makes it valuable. People see it, regard it as digital gold because it's divisible. Just like a piece of gold, like what I have here is worth value. That's how Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is divisible and it's yet of value. So Bitcoin is internet money, and then we have our notes. I don't know if you mentioned Naira is like fiat. So the difference is it's fiscal. You cannot see Bitcoin. However, with notes you can touch, and yeah, that's basically the difference. I don't want to sound too technical to confuse anybody. So it's just basically internet money, and it's.
So you go to internet. Femi. So still on it. So. You go to internet. How do you begin to exchange? We know what is trade by barter. How do you begin to? How do I trade this money? How do I get this money? How do I make money with this money? Because money is supposed to make money for you.
Yes.
Currency.
So cryptocurrency is available on internet, and I know your colleague mentioned with respect to a lot of scams also associated with cryptocurrency. That is why it's important that before you need to read about cryptocurrency. It's very, very important to read, and then you should trust whatever platform you're trying to invest or buy cryptocurrency. You need to make sure you've done your on the ground research and it work exactly. So basically, you go on the internet, maybe go to Luno and then download the app and then buy Bitcoin. It's basically so Bitcoin has use cases. A lot of people trade Bitcoin. And then that's where, because you mentioned make money. People trade Bitcoin and then sort of earn money from that. And then people use it for cross-border payments, like remittances from one end to another. It's basically cheaper and also faster compared to the traditional method of carrying out financial transactions. And yeah.
Oh, sorry, Owen. I hope I didn't interrupt you.
It's fine.
Thank you. Well, we can see why companies like yours or Bitcoin or any type of cryptocurrency affiliated company can see the potential in Africa. But if we were to flip the script, is Africa or African countries interested in Bitcoin? If so, can you give us, I guess, the names of these countries that have presented themselves in a way that would spark interest, that shows that they are considering moving into that space?
Well, yeah, I mean, from Google's research, Google's survey just last year, in terms of the topic around cryptocurrency, 3 countries in Africa were top in the list. Nigeria, of course, Uganda, and South Africa. Yes, so there's been an increase in crypto adoption, and also recent surveys has shown that the appetite for crypto has sort of increased. So yes. There's been an increase in adoption.
This is very key, Owen. One of the major hindrances to cryptocurrency in Africa, then you can begin to bring it home to Nigeria, is internet inadequacy. Do you have any program in place, or you are working on one to solve this obstacle, this challenge?
So yes, you're correct. One of the major challenges we're facing in Africa in terms of crypto adoption is also the internet penetration. Because as it is, I mentioned that cryptocurrency is like internet money. It requires right now the internet to make transactions. And from research, I think 39% of people in Africa, 39% actually have access to internet. So internet is a big problem, but I know it's something that is being worked on. A lot of companies are looking at providing satellites that can give you easy access to internet at a cheaper rate. Because right now, I mean, internet is available in Africa. However, it's pretty very expensive to access. So yes, that's the major challenge because cryptocurrency requires internet to transact.
Good.
I'm happy you touched on that because we were reading through your report and it said that of the 10,267 Bitcoin notes in the world, Africa accounts for only 20% of that. So how can we move into a position where Africa has a bigger seat at that table?
Well, I think, of course, internet is important and also electricity. Africa, in terms of electricity, we do not have access that much to electricity. And then Bitcoin, for Bitcoin mining, for you to be able to, mining means to sort of like produce Bitcoin. You require a lot of electricity. And that's something that we sort of lack in Africa. So it's something that's been worked on. I think that will definitely, if that has been sort of improved, it will increase the number of nodes we have here in Africa. Because Bitcoin requires internet and electricity to work well.
Good. Some barber shops have air conditioning in them, some don't have. So these could be referred to as a selling point, if you like. Why should I switch to cryptocurrency? What's the attraction for an investor, for a businessman, a woman, for a petty trader, or the young? Break it down.
Okay, so cryptocurrency has various use cases. Apart from the normal, which is people trading in cryptocurrency, people seeing it as some sort of a means of investment. I think in emerging markets like Africa and Nigeria, people are sort of tired of the traditional system and are thinking of ways to sort of make money work for them, right? Money is not just a nice to have, but also how you can make money work for them. Cryptocurrency sort of presents a solution because with cryptocurrency, for cross-border payments, for instance, it's cheaper and it's faster. And so that's like the major driver for cryptocurrency, for remittances. It's good. I mean, apart from the fact that you can trade, make money, and then invest.
What's the future for it? What do you think the future going 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead? And do you see, I don't know, is there a possibility of I don't think there's a possibility of not having the notes. I mean...
the thing is, with cryptocurrency, what we say is we'll still rely on banks because, right now, we still need banks. For cryptocurrency, for instance, for customers to trade cryptocurrency, they need to convert Naira to cryptocurrency. So we'll still rely on the notes. However, we've sort of seen an increase in adoption. And I believe that, apart from the Google trends and the recent survey that has shown the appetite, cryptocurrency tends to thrive well in emerging markets that already have their financial challenges, from volatile currencies to high inflation rates, and then the young, growing mobile population, mobile native population. A lot of us right now, they use mobile payments to basically do everything. I don't remember the last time I went to a bank. So I think with that, that population is growing, so it also affects crypto adoption because, like I mentioned, people in these emerging markets are constantly thinking of ways to improve the way they use their money. So I do not see completely replacing notes. However, I see the adoption increase over time.
OWEN ODIA, country manager, Luno Nigeria. Thanks so much.